Hello, everybody. Hi. So I said that we were coming on later today, and we are on. We are on. Hello, everybody. Welcome to a marvelous Monday on Miss Hope's Reading Hour. I'm so glad to be here with you all. So, for all of you who have been here, who are coming here for the first time, I'd like to say hello. My name is Miss Hope of Miss Hope's Reading Hour. I'm so glad to see you all. So, yes, we had to do a later than usual start. Yes, we did, because I had an appointment today and I couldn't get out of the time. I was like, you sure I can't do this earlier? And they were like, no. I'm like, okay, all right. I guess. So, now I am here. I rushed to make it here for all of you. Okay. So, how has your day been? How was your weekend? Hopefully, you all had a great weekend. So, I had a great weekend because my friend Andrea, who will be hopefully on Friday, our guest reader, she gave me, donated 4 boxes of books. 4 boxes. Can you believe it? 4 boxes of books. I went through them and I was like, oh, this is great. I'm so excited. So she gifted 4 boxes of books to the Miss Hope's Reading Hour library, friends. We have a nice bit of books, okay? But if you still would like to donate, please do donate. You can look down at the bottom so that you can see how you can donate via Cash App or by sending a gift card to Miss Hope's Reading Hour library on our email, which is Miss Hopes RH, MSHOPES for Reading Hour at gmail.com. And you can donate in those ways. You can also send me books in the mail, friends. You can if you like. You would have to send me a private message so that I could give you the address. And you can donate by sending me some books, y'all. Okay? Because remember, I recently had a shipment that I got with the last bit of the donations. And then Andrea said, listen, I will gift you some books because she gives out books to children all the time because she has a literacy initiative here in the city of Philadelphia. And what was so great is that she donated these books during a time when she was having a great struggle because there was a fire at her house. And she still made sure that I got the books for all of you. So thank you, Miss Andrea. Thank you so much. Okay. Also, for those of you who are on Facebook, on the Facebook group, you noticed that there was a poll that went up, my friends. There was a poll. So on that poll, it said, what time do you think would be the best time to have Miss Hope's Reading Hour during back to school time? Because as I told you all before, and also on Instagram, I sent you guys a video. So I told you that I work in a school, so I won't be able to start exactly at 3 o'clock. Okay. So, what time would be better for you all? And of course, all of my young ones will have just gotten off of their computers and their virtual learning, or if they are going to school, coming back from school at 3 o'clock. So you won't be able to be on with me live. Okay. And I want you to be here because I want to see you all, right? So that's why I put up the poll. So on Instagram, you can make a comment in the comment section of what time that you think would be best for us to start during back to school time. And on Facebook, in the Facebook group, you can vote on the poll. Now, thank you for all of those who have already voted. Okay. So the times are either starting at 5 p.m., 6 p.m., or 7 o'clock p.m. Now, whatever time gets most of the votes, guess what? That is the time that we will be having Miss Hope's reading hour. And if it turns out that we can't do it that way, then what I will do is I will let you know and give you the choice and say, okay, this time is not the best time. These are the other two times. Which one would you like for me to choose? Because I'm going to choose whatever you want. Because Miss Hope's reading hour is here for you. That's what it's here for. Okay. So let us get to the books, shall we? Okay. So as I did put this on the Facebook group. I put it on there, I think. Okay. I'm sorry. I can't remember whether I did. I put something on there about some tasty books. So there's one that I got. Actually, I got both of these in my shipment from the last bit of donations. So I want to show you these two books. And friends, I'm going to just let you know, I have actually read ahead a little bit in Belly Up. It's getting good already. Okay. I was like, let me read a little bit ahead and see what's going on. It's getting good. Okay. So let me show you the first two books before we get to our chapter book. Okay. So our first book, I don't believe we read this one. Muffin, big pancake, cookie. I just want to make sure that we didn't read this one. No, we did not. Okay. So this is in the, if you give a animal something, this is in that whole series. So our first book is If You Give a Dog a Donut. Okay. So we have found out what happens if you take a mouse to school. We have found out what happens when you give a moose a muffin. We have found out what happens when you give a pig a pancake. Okay. Now we have to see what happens when you give a dog a donut. Okay. So this book is by Laura Numeroff, illustrated by Felicia Bond. If You Give a Dog a Donut. Now, this next book. This is thanks to my friend, Angela, who put it on her page and said that this would be a great book to read. I wanted to read it when I saw it because I personally love tacos. Okay. So this book is Dragons Love Tacos. Did you know that dragons love tacos? So this book is by Adam Rubin, illustrated by Daniel Salmeri. Dragons love tacos, apparently. Okay. And of course, our chapter book, Belly Up by Stuart Gibb. It's getting good, y'all. I read ahead a little bit today while I was on my way to my appointment and while I was on my way back. It's getting good. Okay. So let us get into our first book. If you give a dog a donut, let's find out what happens when you give a dog a donut. Okay, well, you see, it's got a cover, so I got to take that cover off. Look at the cute little doggy. Cute. All right, so let's have a little ambiance, shall we, while we read our book? If you give a dog a donut, what will happen? Let's see. If you give a dog a donut, he'll ask for some apple juice to go with it. When you give him the juice, he'll drink it all up. I'll drink it all up. I like apple juice. Then he'll ask for more. There won't be any left, so he'll want to make his own. He'll go outside to pick apples. Oh, shucks. This is a resourceful dog. When he's up in the tree, he'll toss you one. Throwing the apple will make him think of baseball. He'll want to play. Oh boy. You'll have to get a ball and a glove. I mean, you got to. It's baseball. Of course, he'll also need a bat. He'll ask you to pitch. He'll hit a home run. Go, little dog. It's the first time for everything. Then he'll do a happy dance to celebrate. Dancing will make him hot and dusty, so he'll need some water. He'll probably start a water fight. You'll have to dry him off with your bandana. He'll wrap it around his head and pretend he's a pirate. Then he'll want to go on a treasure hunt. He'll find an old kite and want to make one himself. You'll have to get him some sticks, paper, and string. When the kite is finished, he'll want to fly it. It will go higher and higher. Until it gets tangled in the apple tree. The tree will remind him of apple juice, so he'll probably ask you for some. And chances are, if he asks you for some apple juice, he'll want a donut to go with it. The end. Well, once again, another animal who makes it real busy. Just when he gets one thing, it reminds him of something else, and something else, and then something else. You're like, oh, wait a minute. Maybe I want to be a pirate. No, I want to fly a kite. No, I think I want some apple juice. And what goes better with apple juice than a donut? That was a good story. See, now it's making me want a donut. It is. It's making me want a donut. All right. So for our next book, Dragons Love Tacos. Okay? By Adam Rubin. This one also has a cover. Oh, yay! Though I do keep the covers, I'm excited because it looks exactly the same without the cover. I'm excited. A little ambiance with our taco eating. Why not? Dragons love tacos. Hey kid, did you know that dragons love tacos? They love beef tacos and chicken tacos. They love really big, gigantic tacos and tiny little baby tacos as well. Did you know? Why do dragons love tacos? Maybe it's the smell from the sizzling pan. Maybe it's the crunch of crispy tortillas. Maybe it's a secret. Either way, if you want to make friends with dragons, tacos are the key. Hey dragon, why do you guys love tacos so much? Let us know. But wait, as much as dragons love tacos, they hate spicy salsa even more. They hate spicy green salsa and spicy red salsa. They hate spicy chunky salsa and spicy smooth salsa. If salsa is spicy at all, dragons can't stand it. No kidding. Why do dragons hate spicy salsa? Well, just one drop of hot sauce makes a dragon's ears smoke. Just one single speck of hot pepper makes a dragon snort sparks. Spicy salsa gives dragons the tummy troubles. And when dragons get tummy troubles, oh boy. If you want to make tacos for dragons, keep the mild toppings. Tomatoes, check. Lettuce, check. Cheese, check. These are all good toppings for tacos for dragons. That's all they want, y'all. Hey, dragon. How do you feel about spicy taco toppings? How do you feel? Dragons love parties. They like costume parties and pool parties. They like big, gigantic parties with accordions. Why do dragons love parties? Maybe it's the conversation. Maybe it's the dancing. Maybe it's the comforting sounds of a good friends' laughter. The only thing dragons love more than parties or tacos is taco parties. Taco parties are parties with lots of tacos. If you want to have some dragons over for a taco party, you'll need buckets of tacos, pant loads of tacos. The best way to judge is to get a boat and fill the boat with tacos. That's about how many tacos dragons need for a taco party. After all, dragons love tacos. Hey dragon, are you excited for the big taco party? I think he looks excited. Just remember, dragons hate spicy salsa. Before you host your taco party with the dragons, get rid of all the spicy salsa. In fact, bury the spicy salsa in the backyard so the dragons cannot find it. These dragons love your taco party. They love the music. They love the decorations. They especially love the tacos. Congratulations. You did good. It's a good thing you got rid of all that spicy. Wait a second. What are those little green things in the salsa? You didn't read the fine print? Oh no. Dragons, listen to me. Do not eat those tacos. Those little green specks in the salsa, those are jalapeno peppers. They are super spicy. I know you love tacos, dragons, but you are not going to love those tacos. Do not let those dragons eat those tacos. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Uh-oh. It's a little too late, y'all. Too late. Oh boy. It's too late. Oh no. The house. Oh, they burned down the house. Oh no. Why would dragons help you rebuild your house? Maybe they're good Samaritans. Maybe they feel bad for wrecking it. Maybe they're just in it for the taco breaks. After all, dragons love tacos. The end. Listen, y'all. You have some dragons over for some tacos, no jalapenos. Even if it says mild, if it has little green specks, they're going to burn down your house. Okay? Thank you, Miss Angela, for such a good book. I really like this book. And there's a sequel. You know I'm getting that book, right? We're going to be reading the sequel. Okay? Thank you, Miss Angela, for Dragons Love Tacos by Adam Rubin. Such a good book. And now, like literally, seriously, y'all, I'm hungry. I'm hungry now because first we're talking about donuts. Then we're talking about tacos, which I love. So now I'm hungry. Okay. Belly Up by Stuart Gibbs. All right, friends. So where are we in the story so far? Where we are is that Doc and Martin and what was the other guy's name? And Pete. They're in there while Doc is doing the autopsy. Teddy is up in the ceiling and they don't know. Doc finds out there's some holes in Henry's intestines. Somebody probably fed him something with sharp things in it. And that's what made the holes in his intestines. And then stuff comes out of his intestines and it made him sick, which is what made him go belly up. So now we have to find out who did it. Was it an accident? Was it some fun jungle visitors who thought it was funny to throw something crazy in Henry's mouth? Or did someone do it on purpose? We got to find out, y'all. That's where we are right now. As I told you before, when it comes to the reading of the chapter book, here goes my glasses. Okay. All right. Back to Belly Up. All right. After he was gone, that's Pete, there was a heavy silence. I stood as still as I could, astonished by everything I witnessed. It was shocking enough to hear that Henry had been killed, but Martin's desire to keep it a secret really stunned me. It was the first time I'd realized that Fun Jungle was being run like a corporation rather than a zoo. Finally, Doc said, "There's only the possibility that someone killed Henry on purpose." "Why would someone want to do that?" Martin snapped. "I think you know." There was a long silence, as though Martin was carefully weighing what to say next. Meanwhile, I could barely contain myself. I wanted to shout at the top of my lungs and ask who they thought killed Henry and why. But I didn't. To my disappointment, Martin didn't take bait. Instead, he snapped off his goggles and headed for the door. That's preposterous. No one would be crazy enough to murder a hippo. People do lots of crazy things. Martin tapped his foot rapidly, something I'd noticed he did when he got nervous. "Henry died of natural causes," he said finally. "That's what I want to see in your report. No accusations of murder, no crackpot conspiracy theories. Natural causes. End of story." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Neither could Doc. "Let me get this straight," he said. I could hear the aggravation in his voice. "Someone may have killed our mascot, the most famous animal in the entire country, and you want me to cover it up?" "Yes, that's exactly what I want." "But that's a direct order. Do it, or there'll be consequences." It was a long silence before Doc said anything. Even though I couldn't see him, I could feel the tension in the room. I wasn't sure what consequences Martin had in mind, but Doc seemed troubled by them. When he finally spoke again, he sounded very tired. "All right," he said. I'll bury it. Chapter 4, Home. It took Doc a lot longer to finish with Henry than I'd expected. Even though Martin remained in the auditorium, interrupting his phone calls now and then to prod Doc or complain about how much time it was taking, Doc still insisted on doing his autopsy properly. He went through Henry's intestines inch by inch, and a full-grown hippo has more than 60 feet of intestines. The whole time he was doing it, I had to stay up in the catwalk, trying to stay silent. My legs began to cramp terribly, although that was nothing compared to the pain I felt in my bladder. I had drunk a lot of water before the autopsy, and now it all wanted to get back out again. Of course, the more I tried not to think about it, the more I thought about it until I ultimately felt like I was going to explode. It was torture. Meanwhile, Doc just kept poking along, like examining hippo intestines was the greatest fun you could ever have. I couldn't tell for sure how many holes Doc found, but I knew from his occasional comments to himself that it was more than 100. To his annoyance, however, he never found what he was really looking for, the objects that made the holes. "Come on, where are you?" he asked repeatedly and ultimately grumbled, "Dang things must have gotten pooped back out." By 9:30, I'd been hiding for nearly 3 hours, and I was about to cry uncle and blow my cover when, to my incredible relief, Martin finally goaded Doc out of the auditorium. Doc still wanted to sift through the contents of Henry's stomach, but Martin convinced him it could wait until the next day. And I think even Doc was getting nauseous after rooting through Henry's innards for so long. The moment they went out the door, I scrambled down and booked for the exit. I'd really wanted to look in Henry's belly and see some of the perforated intestines up close, but I couldn't spare another second. The auditorium door automatically locked behind me as I dashed out. I don't think a cheetah could run to the nearest bathroom as fast as I did. Once I'd taken care of my business, however, I still had some things to deal with. I was starving, and my mother was surely ready to kill me for coming home late. Mom always expected me home by 8 for dinner. She didn't much care what I did before then. The park was so far from civilization, she figured I couldn't get into a whole lot of trouble. Usually, I was home before dinner time. In fact, I'd never been late before. So I ran back as fast as I could. At night, I could make much better time through the park because the crowds were gone. I had the wide promenades all to myself. It was like running through the streets of a ghost town. It wasn't quiet, though. Many animals are most active at dusk, ouch, and early evening. In fact, normal zoo hours, right in the heat of the day, are practically the worst time to see animals in action. That's when they prefer to nap. Now, as I ran, I could hear animals all around, calling, growling, roaring, chirping, croaking, trumpeting. The night was alive with noise. There were still a few park employees about, mostly cleaning staff and groundskeepers. J.J. McCracken wanted his park spotless when the gates opened every morning. At night, every piece of trash got picked up, every railing was polished, every hedge trimmed. I'd even been around Fun Jungle long enough that the cleaners knew me. So no one called security to report that a family had forgotten one of their children. The trailer park we lived in was behind the back fence, right next to the employee parking lot. In the daytime, it was hideously ugly. Rather than being organized in a sensible fashion, All the trailers were placed where the land was flattest. It looked like they'd been scattered by a passing tornado. At one time, some landscaping had been attempted and quickly forgotten. Now only patches of crabgrass grew among prickly pear cactus and a few stubby cedar trees. The single amenity J.J. McCracken had provided us all was the hot tub, which was totally useless, seeing as the temperature outside was often more than 100 degrees. At night, however, the trailer park was far more welcoming. Since the closest town was so far away, the mobile homes looked kind of like a tight frontier community in the midst of a vast wilderness. There was something comforting about the warm glow of light from their windows. The sky above was one of the few places left in the United States that was free from light pollution. On that moonless night, I could see millions of stars, and the Milky Way was a bright slash across the sky. We lived in the farthest trailer from Fun Jungle, right on the edge of the wilderness. White-tailed deer wandered past our home every day. A herd of 6 was grazing by the front steps as I returned, but they scattered at the sight of me. I could hear the TV, which was surprising. Mom rarely turned it on. She was so used to living without one after all her time in Africa, she often forgot we even had one. She didn't like it much, calling it the idiot box, preferring that we read or played games to pass time instead. It took a special kind of person to become a field biologist, and my mom was one of the best. I'm not just saying that. She won all sorts of awards from conservation organizations, and anytime there was a magazine article about her, important scientists lined up to say how great she was. She was really smart, but also tough enough to deal with the hardships of living far from civilization. In the Congo, she faced hungry lions, rampaging elephants, blood-sucking leeches, and most dangerous of all, poachers. She was incredibly patient. When she'd begun her research, she watched her gorillas 12 hours a day, every day for an entire year until they finally began to accept her as one of their own. After spending so long out there, she felt the gorillas were her family. It wasn't like she was putting them in competition with me, though. In fact, I thought it was nice. You couldn't find another biologist in the whole world who cared more about her subjects. Given her adventurous background, it might seem surprising that my mom now enjoyed working at a zoo. But given the war, staying in Congo wasn't an option. And besides, Fun Jungle wasn't merely a zoo. J.J. McCracken wanted it to be a world-class research facility too. Dad claimed this wasn't because JJ was interested in science. There were big tax breaks for research facilities. JJ had told Martin Delgado to recruit the best of the best. And where gorillas are concerned, that was my mom. Martin had offered to double what mom was getting paid in Atlanta. But to his surprise, she wasn't that interested in money. Field biology doesn't pay much. She hadn't gone into it expecting to get rich. Instead, what she cared about was research. And the key to doing good research was an exceptional animal habitat. So Mom had begun her work at Fun Jungle long before we moved there, serving as a technical consultant on the design of Monkey Mountain. Under her supervision, the exhibits were altered from mere viewing areas into dynamic living spaces where animals could thrive. Mom knew that gorillas and other primates would enjoy what they would enjoy in their new homes. And she knew what she and other scientists would need to study them. With her input, Monkey Mountain became the world's finest man made habitat for gorillas, as well as chimpanzees, orangutans, gibbons, colobus monkeys, and red ring-tailed lemurs. JJ had cut similar deals with other scientists to bring them to Fun Jungle, allowing them to help design their exhibits as well. Therefore, our trailer park was a who's who of famous field biologists. One of the world's greatest elephant researchers lived on one side of us. A polar bear specialist lived on the other. Fun Jungle had found one other incentive to lure Mom there, giving Dad a job too. That was great for all of us, as it meant that for the first time in my life, Dad was around more often than he wasn't. And yet, Dad still craved an adventure now and then, so his contract allowed him to do an occasional assignment for someone else. That's why only Mom was waiting for me at home that night. Dad was in China, taking pictures of giant pandas for Outside magazine. I banged through the front door. There was no point in trying to sneak in. Our trailer only had 3 rooms, and after so much time in the jungle, Mom had a highly attuned sense of hearing. She probably heard me crunching through the dry crabgrass from 100 yards away. That was another reason the TV being on was odd. Mom always said that it was too noisy. It interfered with her ability to hear the world around her. Once I came inside, I understood why it was on. It was tuned to the local news, which was all about Henry. This wasn't much of a surprise. J.J. McCracken's decision to build Fun Jungle was the biggest news in that part of Texas since the Battle of the Alamo. The local TV stations had covered it nonstop from the moment it was announced. There were daily reports on how many tourists were coming, how well the park was running, and how soon it would be until new attractions were opened or new hotels were built. Anytime a new animal arrived, it was a lead story. I'd seen a newspaper survey that said Henry was the second most recognizable celebrity in the state, just behind J.J. McCracken, but ahead of the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. So his death was huge news. They weren't actually showing Henry when I came in. That was fine with me. I'd seen plenty of Henry that day, inside and out. Instead, they were interviewing Summer McCracken, JJ's daughter, about how she was handling Henry's death. In the time since she'd given her father the idea for Fun Jungle, Summer, now 13 years old, had become quite famous herself. I'd never really understood why. Sure, she was rich, and lots of people said she was pretty, but she didn't really do anything except go to boarding school. And yet, everyone was still fascinated by her. At the supermarket checkout, there was always at least one magazine with her on the cover, claiming to have the latest details on what she was up to and who she was dating. Even the employees of Fun Jungle were crazy about her. I'd overheard several excitedly discussing rumors that Summer was home from school and might even come to the park to visit. It was ridiculous. I watched the end of her interview. Summer had a lot of composure for someone only a year older than me. But maybe if people had been interviewing me my whole life, I would have been like that too. Despite being obviously upset about Henry, Summer managed to be very well spoken. I think we're all really shocked about this, she told the reporter. Not just my family, but all the people who work at Fun Jungle and everyone who's ever come to see Henry here. I wondered if Summer didn't know what Henry was really like, or if she was just faking the heartfelt stuff. If she was, she could have taken Pete Thwacker. She could have given Pete Thwacker a run for his money in the PR department. It's a terrible shame, Summer went on. But I think it's important to note that the last months of Henry's life were happy ones. You were with Henry, weren't you? It always surprised me how Mom could sneak up on me so quietly, even within the confines of the trailer. She'd mastered moving silently during her years with the gorillas. I wheeled around to find her standing right behind me, arms crossed. She was wearing her standard work outfit, a khaki shirt and shorts. I hesitated, trying to determine if it was worth lying, but finally deciding it would be pointless. Mom could always see right through me. How'd you know? You smell like dead hippo. Of course. Mom had also honed her sense of smell in the Congo. When you spent a lot of time in the jungle, oh, come on, Paige. When you'd spent a lot of time in the jungle, it paid to know when something dangerous was creeping up on you. The way most humans sense dangers through sight, but the way most animals did was through hearing or smell, which were much more effective over long distances, especially at night. Dad said Mom could smell a lion from half a mile away, and even if it was a male or female. He always claimed to be joking about the last part, but I think it might have been true. I hadn't even been that close to the hippo. At the nearest, I'd still been 10 feet away. But I guess the stench had stuck with me. Your dinner was ready an hour and a half ago, my mom said. I was worried sick about you. Why didn't you call? I couldn't. That's no excuse, Theodore. I was almost ready to call park security. I was watching the autopsy. Henry was murdered. That surprised my mom enough to silence her for a moment. She turned off the TV so as to give me her full attention, then asked, "What are you talking about?" I told her the whole story. She listened straight through without interrupting. I'll bet most other mothers would have punished me the moment they'd heard I'd snuck into the autopsy. But Mom was different. She was naturally curious, and she loved animals even more than I did. If someone had done something to harm Henry, she wanted to know about it. While she listened, she reheated my dinner and set it before me. I was so hungry, I dug right in. It took the whole meal for me to finish telling everything that happened. Once I was done, Mom sat quietly for a while. Finally, she said, "That's very interesting. But technically, you don't have any proof Henry was murdered." Doc said he was. Did he really? Or did he just suspect it? I had to think about that, going over the whole autopsy again in my mind. Finally, I admitted. He just suspected it, I guess. But something had to make all those holes in Henry's intestine. True, but you have no way of knowing if someone fed it to Henry on purpose or not. I frowned. This wasn't exactly the response I'd been hoping for. I guess not. Mom glanced at my empty plate, then nodded to the sink. I took all my dirty things over and cleaned them. While I did, Mom cut me a slice of chocolate cake and poured a glass of milk. "Murder is a very serious charge," she said. "When you say that, You're insinuating that someone purposely planned to kill Henry. Now, can you think of any reason anyone would want to do that? Doc said he could. Mom paused ever so slightly while putting the milk back in the fridge. I could tell she was surprised by this, but she didn't want me to know. Did he say what that was? No, but Martin seemed to know what he was talking about. Mom set the cake on the table. I think you must have misunderstood them. I can't think of any reason someone would want to murder an animal. People do it all the time. It's called hunting. I mean, in a zoo, a lot of people here didn't like Henry. That doesn't mean they'd want to kill him. I shrugged. But I knew Mom was right. I couldn't imagine anyone hating Henry so much that they'd murder him. But then I couldn't understand why someone would want to kill an animal with a gun either. I'd seen what poachers do in Africa, shooting an elephant just for its tusks, or a rhino for its horn. It was always unbelievably horrible and cruel. How could anyone think an elephant tooth was beautiful, but not the elephant itself? And though I'd never seen the results of the war in the Congo, I'd heard more than enough about them. All I could figure was adults were capable of a lot of bad behavior for reasons that were far beyond me. So even though it didn't make sense that someone would want to murder Henry, I still didn't doubt someone would do it. I tried to think of a way to explain this to Mom, but I couldn't. Besides, something in her demeanor told me she didn't want to hear it anyhow. Finally, I asked, so you think it was just an accident? I'm not saying someone didn't purposely feed Henry something they shouldn't have, she told me. People do lots of cruel and stupid things. When I was studying at the Bronx Zoo, there was a sea lion pool. People would throw coins into it all the time. The sea lions kept eating the coins and getting sick. So the zoo put up signs warning everyone not to do it. And people kept doing it anyhow. It wasn't garbage. This wasn't garbage. This was money. Money they could use. There was no point to it. But they kept doing it. And eventually, one of the sea lions got sick and died. The zoo ultimately had to post a security guard to keep people from throwing their money away. I'd eaten my cake quickly. Mom took my plate to the sink. She seemed saddened by the whole conversation. So yes, maybe someone killed Henry, she said. But I don't think it's murder. I think it's just what humans have always done to animals. Before I could argue the point, she turned me toward the bathroom and said, now go take a shower. You're making the whole trailer smell like dead hippo. All right. We will end Belly Up there, my friends. We will end it there. So there is a cover-up happening. They don't want Doc to say that he thinks someone did something wrong to Henry. So now he has to cover it up. But what they don't know is that Teddy heard everything. And now his mom knows his suspicions. So his mom was very careful about the way she asked her questions. Now, who do you think did it now? Because now enters Summer, J.J. McCracken's daughter. She's at boarding school. Did she know what kind of a hippo Henry was? That he was mean and nasty and pooped on people? Or did she not know him and genuinely felt bad? Or is she faking that she feels bad? So, though I thought it was Martin, now I don't know. It could possibly be summer. Who knows? Okay. I told you it's getting good. Now, I didn't get to how much I've read. Oh, when we get to that on the Wonderful Wednesday, when we get to that, you're going to be like, oh man. Okay. So, we are now at the end of Miss Hope's reading hour for today. We're at the end. Can you? Every time I'm surprised we are at the end. And I was good because I was getting into the story. I was good. I kept paying attention to the timer. Be proud of me. Give me a round of applause. Give me a hand. Okay. Now let's go over the books that we read today that were so good. Okay. So our first book, well, this was the second book. Dragons Love Tacos. If you have a kid who loves tacos, if you are a child who loves tacos, tell your parents, teacher friends, this might be a good one. Oh, idea. What about, even though we're starting virtually for school, telling your parents that you're going to have a taco day, a virtual taco day, and you read Dragons Love Tacos and they have all the stuff for the tacos. That, I find it fun. I think it will be fun. I think it'll be fun. Dragons Love Tacos by Adam Rubin. Such a good book. And, oh, where's my cover? Where's my cover? All right. And if you give a dog a donut, I'm hungry, y'all. I'm hungry. After I get off of here, I'm going to have to get something to eat because I'm hungry. Okay? Because then they talked about the chocolate cake and the milk in Belly Up. I'm like, what are you people doing to me today? If you give a dog a donut by Laura Numeroff. Another good book. They have a whole series of these things, a whole series, okay? And of course, Belly Up by Stuart Gibbs. It's getting good, y'all. It's getting good. We're starting to find out the different players in the mystery. So until a wonderful Wednesday, have a great rest of your evening for this marvelous Monday. Hopefully it was marvelous for you and you did not get caught in the rain. I was very surprised to find out that it rained. It was so super hot when I came outside. Oh my gosh. And I said, wait a minute. Looks kind of wet out here. It rained, but that just made it even hotter, y'all. So until then, have a great rest of your marvelous Monday. Have a terrific Tuesday. Have a good day. And I will meet you right back here on a wonderful Wednesday on Miss Hope's Reading Hour. Thank you so much for being with me. And I look forward to seeing you all on Wednesday. Okay? Talk to you soon. Until next time, see you later. Bye. Bye-bye.